For centuries, the true story of Africa has been buried, hidden beneath layers of colonial theories and foreign interpretations. A continent once united has been divided by artificial borders and alien ideas. And among these distortions, none cuts deeper than the rewriting of African identity itself, especially that of the Bantu people. It is painful, truly painful, to see how far our history has been altered. But still, there are those who have preserved the truth, those who have studied, listened, and remembered. And this channel is one of them. There was a time when Africa was one, a land without borders, without north or south. People moved freely, traded freely, married freely. But then came the scholars and explorers who sought to divide what was whole. They gave us the term sub-Saharan Africa, a concept born not from history, but from politics. It was a man-made theory meant to separate the so-called civilized North from the tribal South. Yet before such divisions, there were no barriers. From the Nile to the Cape, Africa was a single body, connected through bloodlines, trade routes, and shared ancestry. To understand who the Bantu truly are, we must return to the beginning, to the lineage of Ham, one of the sons of Noah, from whom the ancient civilizations of Africa descended. The descendants of Ham include the Egyptians, the Kushites, the Libyans, and the Canaanites, nations of great knowledge and power. Their legacy can be seen in the architecture of Kemet, the engineering of Nubia, and the wisdom of Kush. Over millennia, these ancient peoples spread across the continent, from the Nile Valley to the Great Lakes, from Ethiopia to southern Africa. They became the Bantu, the children of Bantu, whose name carries the very essence of life and being. Yes, throughout the ages, foreign nations came among us, traders, migrants, refugees. But they joined our world, they did not create it. The core of African civilization, the culture, the language, the spirit, remained Hamite. As the ancient world grew interconnected through trade, new faces appeared on Africa's coasts. From the Levant came the Shemites, merchants and travelers seeking ivory, gold, and spices. The Swahili coast became a meeting place between two worlds, Africa and the Near East, which I believe was the part of the continent in ancient times. Through centuries of trade, intermarriages occurred, and communities were formed that carried both African and Shemitic bloodlines. Among the most well-known examples are the Lemba people, a group found in southern Africa who trace their ancestry to Jewish traders who arrived from Yemen around 650 BC. They tell a story of men who left Israel, married African women, and preserved their traditions through generations. Science later confirmed this heritage. Some Lemba men carry genetic markers associated with the priestly lineage of ancient Israel. But this truth must be understood correctly. They are a part of us, not all of us. Their presence enriches our history, but it does not redefine our identity. Just as rivers may join the ocean itself remains the same. Africa's nature has always been generous. The Bantu are welcoming people, hospitable and kind. Throughout history, we embraced foreigners who sought refuge among us, allowing them to live, trade, and intermarry. But with such openness came confusion. Over time, some began to mistake inclusion for origin, forgetting that to be part of a people is not always to become that people. The Shemitic traders were few, their descendants blending into our nations through generations. They became like us in appearance, language, and culture, but the root of the tree remained Hamitic. In recent years, a strange theory has begun to resurface. That South Africa is the ancient Israel. Its authors point to names of towns and landscapes, claiming them to be the same as those in the Bible. But this idea is not new. A similar narrative once appeared across the Atlantic, in the Americas, where some claimed that the ancient Israelites had settled there. That theory has long been dismissed, yet now it has been repackaged and directed toward Africa. To set the record straight, when missionaries arrived in southern Africa, they brought not only their faith, but their names. They renamed towns and rivers after biblical places to reflect their own culture and religion. Take the town of Bethlehem in South Africa. Founded in 1864 by missionaries inspired by the Bible. Or Gaza in Mozambique, often claimed to be the same Gaza from Palestine. But history tells a different story. This African Gaza was named after Soshangane, son of Ziguda, also known as Gasa. He named his kingdom Amagasankalu, the Great Gassas. So while these names sound familiar, their origins are purely African. They are echoes of our kings, not borrowed identities. Another influence we cannot ignore is the lineage of Ishmael, the son of Abraham and Hagar, the Egyptian woman. When Hagar was sent away, she returned to her homeland of Egypt, and Ishmael took an Egyptian wife. Their descendants, the Ishmaelites, lived and traded across North and East Africa. Through centuries of contact, some settled among the Bantu peoples. Their children were absorbed into African societies, becoming part of our nations, but not altering our collective origin. Once again, connection does not equal conversion. The truth, simple yet powerful, is this. The Bantu are Hamites, descendants of Ham, builders of nations, creators of civilizations. Our Shemitic brothers and sisters are part of our shared human story, and we honor them. But we must not confuse relationship with identity. Africa's soul remains rooted in the legacy of Ham, the same lineage that birthed Egypt, Kush, and Punt, the same lineage that gave rise to the Bantu and the Khoisan. Through every wave of migration, through every foreign influence, Africa stood firm, embracing others without losing herself. The greatest tragedy of history is not conquest, it is forgetfulness. When a people forget who they are, they become vulnerable to every lie spoken about them. But today the tide is turning. The children of Africa are awakening once more, searching for truth, reclaiming their roots, and refusing to be defined by borrowed stories. Africa was not divided. Africa was not lost. Africa was simply misunderstood. And as long as truth remains, we will continue to set the record straight. We are the Bantu, the children of Ham, keepers of the world's oldest memory, and guardians of the truth that was nearly forgotten. Let no one distort our history. Let no one redefine our origins. For Africa was always one,